my channel. If you're new here, hi, hello, what's up? My name is Kylie, and by the title, today I am doing my April monthly wrap-up. I've read 9 books this month. If you watched my random number generator picks my April reads, you will know that I had 7 books that I picked. I've only read 6 of them. To me, that's pretty dang good. I'm definitely more of a mood reader, so the fact that I even read all of those, I feel really proud of myself. There was one book that I just wasn't in the mood for, and that's East of Eden. I really want to get to it one day. But I know that's a book that I'm going to need to be in the mood to read it, or it's just gonna some things will probably just like go right over my head and I will just be missing out because then I'm not gonna like it. So I'm definitely not rushing to get to that book. I did slide it into my TBR for May. I'm saying all this just to pretty much say, listen to your gut, okay? Read what you want to read when you want to read it. Okay, don't feel like you have to force yourself into reading any books because it's on a TBR or because it's on a list. Don't force yourself, okay? I have my computer here and I'm going to just run off the stats really quickly and then we could get into it. So I read 9 books, which is 3,433 pages. For genres, I read 4 thrillers, 3 science fiction, 2 YA, 2 mystery, 2 horror, 1 dystopian, 1 romance, 1 literary, and 1 fantasy, and 1 contemporary. For page numbers, I read 22%, which is equivalent to 2 books, was less than 300 pages. 67%, which is equivalent to 6 books, was 300 to 499 pages. And then 11%, which is equivalent to 1 book, was 500 plus. All the books I read was fiction. The moods that Storygraph said I read the most was, and it's in this order, dark, tense, mysterious, adventurous, sad, reflective, funny, and emotional. My average star rating is 4.0. So let's just get into it, shall we? I have them all stacked up right here. So the first book that I read this month, or it's still this month because it's the last day of April, so I get to say that. Okay, good. The last month, the first book that I read in April is How to Sell a Haunted House. I somehow rated this book a 2.75. I honestly haven't rated a book in the 2s in quite a while. I'm also, just side note, I'm also being very tough with myself, not tough, but very stern with myself about ratings, because now that I almost have 100 of you guys, by the way, I almost have 100 of you guys watching me or subscribe to me, so I really appreciate you guys so much. Just throwing that out there. I just wanted to make sure that I am telling you the correct things. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that my feelings are 100% right, that I'm not just telling you, oh, this book is really good, I recommend it if I feel like some things was really off of a book. So I was being very strict with myself to not be too lenient on certain ratings for certain reasons. Like, did I really love the book? Did I really love the characters? And if I didn't, why? I'm trying to make sure that if I'm telling you that I recommend a book, it's a book that I actually really love, and I think that you might like if you like those certain things. I just want to throw it out there really quick that I am definitely trying to not just say a book is good when to me it was like meh, but I rated it a 4 instead of rating it how I really felt, which is a 2.75. Okay, going back to the book. I rated this a 2.75. I still to this day don't know if it's my fault or the book's fault. I really don't think it's the book's fault. I just came off a weekend of watching all Chucky movies and then somehow decided to pick up this book. So I think my expectations for the book was way too high because of the movies I was watching, because it was giving off the same vibe, and I think I just had way too high of expectations of what I was looking for from this book, and it was not giving me that. It ended up not doing so well with me. And I would hate to use the word boring, but I read this for my travel reading vlog, and it was kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie, I was not, in the beginning it was great because as I said, I was just coming off of the weekend and it was giving me what I wanted, but then after like page 200, everything just started going downhill for me. And I feel like this book is 100 pages way too long. We could have wrapped that up sooner. I feel like it could have been just dealt with quicker than all of this that they were doing. This book is about a brother and sister who unfortunately lost their parent, and because of that they now have to come back together. She moved away from the hometown, he still lived there, so she has to come back. They have to come back together so they can figure out how to sell the house, only that the house does not want to be sold. That's pretty much where it just goes off from there. I didn't like the characters, I didn't like the thing that they picked, I didn't like its freaking name. I really didn't like its name at all. It was, after like reading it for the 50th time, I was like, I'm getting annoyed right now. I still don't know if it was the book's fault or my fault. The next book that I read is Room for Rent, and this is a mystery thriller book. It was definitely a Wattpad style, okay? But it was giving good Wattpad style. I wasn't mad at it at all, even though it was very, very predictable. Because the chapters are so short, it was very entertaining to read, so I just kind of like binged this book. I think I read it in like less than 6 hours or something. I was just going through this book. But at the end, I did expect there to be like one major big twist, at least one, but it wasn't. But coming off of the other book, it was great. Honestly, I was not bored at all. I was so entertained the whole time. So this book's about a girl who is in college. She's finishing her last year in college and she is not the best financially, so she has to find this sketchy room in this apartment that's so sketchy with this person that is so sketchy. And things around her room start moving even if she is home. Yep, even if she's there. Yep. The next book that I read is The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I read this for Spin the Wheel Chooses How Long I Read for a Week video. And I read this one and the next 2 books for that video. So if you want to see that video, go check it out. So I'm not going to give too much in depth of how I felt because I definitely went in depth a lot. But of course I'm still going to tell you some. I really enjoyed this book. It is a mystery thriller. I rated this book 4 stars. It was so great. It was so entertaining the entire time. Yes, it's a bit predictable, but some of the things I was making assumptions on was wrong. Just feeling wrong in a prediction is just so great to me sometimes. I think she killed this one. So this book is about a high school teacher. Her name is Eve, and then it goes off of a high school student whose name is Andy. There's a scandal that happens the year before the book is taking place. And it just pretty much goes off of there. But I really enjoyed this book. This book was a whirlwind, okay? There was twists and turns in the first 80 pages. I was like, what the heck is going on? What do you mean? So I was really having fun reading this book for sure. The next book that I read is The Boy on the Bridge. This is the second book to The Girl with All the Gifts. This book is science fiction, horror, dystopian genres. I honestly loved this book, okay? It was a bit of a slow start for sure because it was like 12 people to get introduced to and it was just a lot. But after like 80 pages or 80 to 100 pages after you're introduced to all these people, I was just eating this book up. Honestly, it was so good. And reading this book made me really just remember why I loved the first book so much. You could tell that this author did their homework. The science talk in this book was so well done. Like, so well done. Like, there's nothing, I couldn't have asked for anything better, honestly. I can't say too much about what it is, but I can say a little bit. It's pretty much in the past from The Girl with All the Gifts. It's about what happened before that. So, which I really appreciated because we actually got a lot of answers. Like, this book wasn't really for like a big old plot or anything. It was just, I felt like it was just really to give you answers of why the first book, how it was. Yeah, and I appreciate the heck out of it. I didn't really leave feeling like unanswered questions. I had answers to some of the questions that I didn't even know I had. I rated this a 4.5, and I wish it was a movie too, but it's not. I already looked it up. The next book that I read is Renegades. It is a YA science fiction fantasy book. I rated this a 3.75, and it's just because at some points of the book it was very slow for me, and it also took a while to learn all the characters. It was just a lot of people, a lot of powers to learn, but it was just a very slow start for me. I don't really have anything that bad to say. I will always love Marissa's writing. 100%, always love her writing. I definitely was enjoying it after 200 pages in, so I definitely bought the second book. Obviously I had to. I was really enjoying myself reading this book, don't get me wrong, and it was 100% giving X-Men vibes. I hope that the second book is a little more like intense as I would have wanted this book. This book wasn't what I was expecting, honestly, but I still enjoyed myself. This book is about a world that goes into chaos, and these humans who have superpowers try to come save the day. I don't know why I said it like that. So we're pretty much following off of Nova, and she has her reasons for not liking the Renegades, and then we're following Adrian, who has his reasons for not liking the villains. And it just goes off from there. In the end, I started getting really sad that it was almost over because I could just feel the connection and the slow burn between them, and I was so ready for it, and then it just ended. The next book that I read is One of Us Knows by Alyssa Cole. This is a thriller book. I read this book for my 24-hour readathon video. Oh my gosh. And it was the right book. It was the right book, let me tell you. I had a blast reading this book. I really did. It's a black woman who writes this book, and it's a black woman who is the main character. And I love that. I was just giggling with them. Honestly, I was having a blast with these girls, okay? I think it was written so well. I think she definitely did her research also for the DID, because our main character has DID, and I think she killed it. Some things I have no idea about, but I think what I have learned so far, she did really good, okay? So this book is about a girl who has DID. Her and her alters just got a new job to babysit a house that's on an island. The alter who got them that job all of a sudden went dormant, so then the other admin, she had to come out of being dormant for years and pretty much figure out why they're here, how are they here, what is the reason, where did the other alter go. So while they're trying to figure all of this stuff out, then the person who actually hired them comes to the island, and now everything just blows up in flames, and it just starts from there. So I thought this story was very well executed. I really enjoyed myself reading this. I gave this 4 stars. Okay, quick break, but we're back. So the next book that I read for April is Annie Bot. I could talk about this book for days. I really enjoyed this book. It is a science fiction literary, so good, so good. I am actually obsessed with this book. I honestly am obsessed with this book. I really want to reread it soon. That's how great I think it was. I rated this book a 4.5 stars. It is only 230 pages. It is a really short read, and I did not know how much I can have feelings for a robot. I didn't know that. But I fell for this robot so hard. Her name's Annie. I don't know why I keep calling her a robot, because she is a robot. See, look at me. This is getting scary, especially when I feel like this book can be real life in the future. Okay, it really can be real life in the future, alright? If I didn't even read this for my 24-hour readathon, I still would have wanted to read this in one sitting. That's how good it was. It was so fun to just watch her learn and grow and everything. It just brought me so much joy. There is trigger warnings in this book. Please be on the lookout for those. I personally don't like saying trigger warnings because sometimes I feel like when some people do, it could kind of just ruin the story in a way, because like I understand that it helps certain people in that they want to be prepared at first, but I feel like sometimes it kind of ruins the story because you'll know, like if you're like 200 pages in and their trigger warning has yet to be spoken about, you know the last 100 pages is gonna have that in it. So I like to go in there kind of blindish, but I will let you know always, always, always that there is trigger warnings, so go look for those, okay? Because I don't want to be the cause of you having a mental breakdown. This book definitely made me have to stop reading a few times just to collect my composure. I still loved it nonetheless, okay? So this book is about Annie. She was made to be the perfect girlfriend for this guy named Greg. Is his name Greg? Doug. I don't know where I got Greg from. He had her for a different type of girlfriend, if you know what I mean. He wanted her to learn how to be like a human girlfriend. I think that's just because he didn't want to seem like a wimp dating a robot because he couldn't find a real human girl. So him being the owner of her, she just wants to please him and give him everything that he wants, so she goes ahead and tries to be more human. It just goes off from there, and what Doug was just so slow to know is that human doesn't make you perfect, okay? Her wanting to be human makes her less perfect. The next book that I read is All the Bright Places. Oh, hands down, I haven't cried like this since probably reading A Little Life. This is a YA contemporary romance. First 5 stars of the month, honestly. And I was so stoked, but so sad and depressed at the same time. My heart still aches thinking about this book. So I'm not going to go too much in depth because I really don't want to cry right now. But it just hit so many levels, and I definitely feel like I'm one of the last people to read this book because a lot of people on my Instagram was telling me, oh, I read this in high school, and I was like, well, at least I got the chance to read it now. I loved Finch in this book. Okay, he was such a gem. I really felt for him. I understood him on deeper levels. I really felt for him. This whole book I felt for. I felt for her too. I felt for everyone. Everything was just sad. It was just written so well. The quotes were so well done. Oh, I did finish this book and try to go watch the movie, but some part of me, for some reason, when I finish a book and go watch the movie, if the main characters look completely different than what I have envisioned this whole however long I was reading this book for, I don't know, if I already pictured something and then the movie is something 100% different, I'm like, oh, I don't know, it just made me feel weird for a second, so I kind of like just paused the movie and was like, I'll come back to this later when I don't have the book like right off my mind. This is no shade to the movie at all. I just think I just need a little space between each other, so I'm not like 100% being like, oh, that's wrong, that wasn't the book, that wasn't the book, you know. I'm going back to it hopefully this weekend. I'm gonna finish it, and I was already loving it, honestly. I think I already cried to it one time. Yeah, I definitely cried once. I'm gonna just say this for the people who don't know. This book is about Violet and Finch who meet on the ledge of school. Once they finally decide not to jump and come down from there as walking down the stairs, Finch kind of gets hyper-focused on her and wants to just make sure she's okay and help her to know that she doesn't have to live her days by counting them, but like there's a lot more to the world than just counting down your days. So that was just really cute on its own. Oh man, I'm already starting to think about it. Okay, no. And it just pretty much goes off from there. Yeah, I really just loved this book. I loved this book. Okay, let's move on before I start crying. So the last book that I read for April is Finlay Donovan Knocks 'Em Dead. I really needed this book after reading the last book. I needed something just fun and lighthearted and just cozy. So this is a mystery. I like to say cozy mystery because it's definitely giving cozy mystery vibes. It was a really fun read. I think the humor in the first book was definitely more there than it was in the second book. Either way, I really love my girls, so I'm gonna stick around to read the fourth one or to read the third one. Yeah, I think that's really the only main thing that I have to say was like meh about it. It was like I was looking for the humor that I got from the first book, and it just wasn't really giving that. So this book is pretty much about Finlay Donovan again, just going through the struggles of real life. She's trying to write another book. she has her 2 kids, and she has to deal with her ex-husband, but then I'm not gonna say too much because I really don't want to spoil anything for the first book, so I'm gonna just let that rock. Did I say what I rated this? I rated this a 3.75. I thought it was good, but I think because the humor was slacking for me, it just wasn't a 4. But it was still good. I still enjoyed it. So these are all the books that I read for April, and I think I did pretty good. Yeah, and I enjoyed all of them, except for, let's just not talk about it. Let me just try to hide it. No, I'm kidding. But I did enjoy all of them. And I think that's it for me. Comment down below if you have read any of these books that I have read, how you feel about them. Or just comment down below what you're reading right now. We'll love to talk about it. I love getting book recommendations. So if you see these books and you feel like you know a book that might suit me or I might really enjoy, please comment down below and let me know. I would really appreciate it. I'm gonna sign off here, but I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching me. I really, really appreciate you so much. I hope I get to see you, or you get to see me in another video. Later. The next I'm trying to sorry, my voice. Excuse me, I just ate a milkshake. Oh my god, I'm gonna be burping for the next like 2 hours. We'll wait for this cop car to go past. Ambulance? I don't know what that was.